The rawest deal in this film is the one doled out to poor Mona Stevens. She doesn't even get a final close-up, since it would ruin the somber effect director Andre de Toth was going for. Instead of a melodramatic Hollywood finish, de Toth undercuts everything. Johnny and Mona miss each other by seconds. He sees her, but can't call out. It totally defies the typical formulaic ending. We're denied a final embrace between the star-crossed lovers who'll never see each other again and all that schmaltzy jazz. What difference would it have made? Stuck between Smiley, Mac, and Forbes, Mona gets screwed no matter how you cut the deck. She is the most noir character in this film. If Pitfall were remade today, it would be from her point of view. And by the way, those final scenes are precisely why you made a film independently in 1948. So no studio boss could force a bogus, upbeat ending on a picture that addressed adult issues in a mature manner. She was only a few years into her career at this point, but Elizabeth Scott was already a polarizing figure in the business. She was often ridiculed as nothing more than the personal project of producer Hal Wallace. Burt Lancaster and Barbara Stanwyck made no bones about not wanting to work with her due to her limitations as an actress. But Andre de Toth specifically wanted her for this role, explaining, "I could have made a different picture with a prettier girl than Elizabeth Scott and told the story of that girl, her problems, but that wasn't my movie. That would make it phony if you cast it with Marilyn Monroe or some type like that. I needed somebody real." Well, only in Hollywood would somebody think Elizabeth Scott wasn't a glamour girl, but de Toth's comments show how determined he was not to go the expected route. And he got a very effective performance from Scott, her best, in my opinion. Some directors, like John Cromwell, simply gave up on her and left her behaving on camera like a talking mannequin. But de Toth was exceptional at finding where the performer and the character intersected and drawing out something genuine. What he got from Scott, I feel, was her underlying resentment at having no control over her life. After all, she got her start in Hollywood as Hal Wallace's personal property. For years, everyone believed she was his mistress, or as they said back then, his protege. Young actresses didn't have much independence in those days, and Scott had even less than most. Her career truly was a case of men constantly telling her what was good for her and building her persona as competition for Lauren Bacall, Veronica Lake, and any other husky-voiced, sultry blonde. They even branded her the threat to boost her allure as a femme fatale. But de Toth, who was one of the great contrarians in Hollywood, with the patchwork career of a freelancer to prove it, tried in this film to scratch away the actress's glossy surface and get to the real woman underneath. That would be Emma Mazzo from Scranton, Pennsylvania, who had a thick mid-Atlantic accent it took years of elocution lessons to overcome. Sort of. She had a distinctive but unclassifiable way of pronouncing things. Essentially, Liz Scott had her own dialect, Hollywood via Scranton by way of Broadway. It's amazing Andre de Toth could see the real person beneath such a carefully calculated facade. There's a theory that Scott was the basis of the Eve Harrington character in All About Eve, that Joe Mankiewicz based his famous 1950 film on stories about Scott, who was still a teenager when she served as Tallulah Bankhead's understudy in the Broadway production of Thornton Wilder's The Skin of Our Teeth. Quite a rivalry developed between the two women. Scott was aggressive about trying to prove herself, while the always imperious Bankhead declared, "I don't have understudies. If I don't go on, the show doesn't go on," which is precisely what happened. During the entire run of The Skin of Our Teeth, Scott never once replaced Bankhead on stage. I've said it before, so I may as well double down now. No one will ever mistake Elizabeth Scott for a good actress, but she could be used effectively. And to me, Andre de Toth did it as well, if not better, than any director. And Scott appreciated it. She said on record that Mona Stevens was her favorite role out of all the films she made. Okay, all you Liz Scott devotees, time to trash me on the Noir Alley Facebook page and Twitter feed. Let it rip. Just be sure to come back next week when Noir Alley presents, for the first time, a film by the undisputed French master of noir, Jean-Pierre Melville. I'll be showing his 1956 film, Bob le Flambeur, which is the essential link between classic noir of the 1940s and French New Wave of the early 60s, without being part of either of those movements. Tune in next week to see what I mean. Till then, see you in the shadows.